Committee of the Whole meeting, January 27th. To order at 9:31 a.m. And I will, okay, we'll call a meeting of the Committee of the Whole, January 27th. Call to order at 9:31 a.m. by opening up the land acknowledgement. We acknowledge Athabasca County is located on First Nations Treaty 6 and Treaty 8 traditional territory. We respect and honor all First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples' connection to the lands, their history, language, and culture. So, good morning, everybody. So we'll move on to item 2.1, approval of the agenda. Okay, we have one amendment. Oh, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just note that page 37 accidentally got included in there, and that should actually be in the council package. So 37 can be deleted from the agenda.
Okay. So any other discussion regarding that or any other thing? Okay, seeing none. So Councillor Chamzik has made the motion to,
Mr. Chairman, did you want to add 7.3
right.
RMA Zone 3 discussion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pembina zone.
Pembina zone.
Yeah, discussion under 7.3.
Okay.
I think everybody received an email, hopefully, just regarding topics. So we'll discuss that in 7.3. Okay. On that note, on the motion, all in favor? Carried. So we'll move to approval of the minutes. Go ahead, Reeve.
Thank you. Just one very small correction on page 8 under councillor updates, the very last sentence. We've got the meeting was reconvened the meeting. If we could just remove the meeting, the meeting, just for clarity's sake.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay. So be it. Councillor DeHollick. Move the motion to move the amended minutes. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. So from there, we go to 4.1, the delegation. That's not till 11 a.m. Via Zoom. So we'll move on to roundtable discussions. CAO update, page 10 of your agenda. And looking for any discussion, any questions to the CAO. Councillor Hall.
Just wondering if you can give us a timeline on when council will receive a briefing on the Summer Village Fire agreements.
No, I can do it immediately. I can do it right now. We've received an email back from the Baptiste Fire Club that they indicate they would like to become a county fire department. So we'll be bringing ahead a report. Chief Shalapai will be doing that, saying here's the action items that are required in order to make that happen. And yeah, it's a bit of work, but they indicated that they would like to join the county.
Thank you for the progress.
That's great news. Guess any other, Reeve Holland.
Thank you so much for your report, CAO. I just wanted to also mention thank you as well for organizing the ICS 300, which is another fantastic course that is being taken from administration. So thank you very much for that.
Okay. Any others? I got one under intermunicipal ARB discussion with Thornhill County. What is ARB?
ARB is the Assessment Review Board.
Oh.
So we've received notice from our current clerk of the ARB that they're withdrawing their services, they're retiring. So it's a third-party service. We contract out our Assessment Review Board to this party. So Thornhill County has pitched a different service. So we've had discussions with Thornhill County.
Okay, thank you very much. And okay, everybody's good with the, thank you for the report, CAO. And from here, we'll move on to Director of Corporate Services. Ms. Emily, how are you doing this morning?
Doing well, thanks. Just checking to see if there's any questions on the report.
Evolve.
Thanks very much. Appreciate this report. Again, these are so great to have, extremely thorough, a lot of information. Just with regards on page 12, we have the human resources, recruitment for the manager of human resources. Is it having any luck any closer to a position being hired there or somebody being hired for that position?
Mr. Chair and members of council, we're currently in negotiations with a candidate. So we're hoping by the end of this week, we'll have an answer.
That's fantastic. Thank you. May I keep going? Okay, thank you. On page 13, under external grants, we have the one for Canada Summer Jobs, which is fantastic, but it mentions support to young adults. So is that 18 plus only, or would that involve students such as, 16 with a driver's license, et cetera?
I believe it involves students under 16 and older.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. I think that's, the other one was, I don't know if we're able to share, but the Municipal Sustainability Initiative and Local Government Fiscal Framework, it says submitted applications for projects under these programs. Are we able to share what the projects are that were submitted?
It's forced. Mr. Chair, so there was basically, before we get our money, we have to put in projects. So we had the MSI is old LGFF. So basically we had, I think it was 200, it's either 230 something or 270 something thousand left. So we put in, I think the Cape Sealing project, it was over that, but we put in 230 something thousand so we can use up that MSI, because originally they said if you don't use it up, you're going to lose it. So we just put in enough that we can get that MSI funding. And then LGFF, according to our budget, we just put in, I think LGFF for 2025 was like a bridge. And then there was 2 dump trucks, like the tandem plow truck and another truck for the LGFF. We didn't put in any Canada Community Building Fund for 2025. That money is mostly going to be used in 2026.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
So last year we had to extend the deadline on the small business property subclass applications. Can you share with us how we've communicated with ratepayers, advertised that to it, and what we know so far about the enrollment in the program?
I'm sorry, the enrollment currently?
Yeah, how are we advertising it, and how are we making sure people know about it? And then how many, are we having more apply this year than last?
Mr. Chair and members of council, right now, or members of the committee, right now we are advertising via social media and newspaper and the website. I don't know what the enrollment is at this point. Jeff might have an idea. I'm not sure.
If I may, just on page 24 under economic development, it also says that reminder letters about the small business tax subclass to 68 eligible business owners were sent. So that's really beneficial as well there.
Perfect. Any other questions? I got one myself, municipal internship grant. Looks like the grant is just being signed, the agreement. So when would that person possibly start or?
Mr. Chair, members of committee, we had a kickoff meeting, Director of Corporate Services and myself. I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago, January 27 or January 19. And there's another kickoff meeting February, or a second meeting February 5th. So basically they're going to be doing, Municipal Affairs is going to be collecting all the resumes. And then for our municipal intern, it's finance stream. So then they're going to open up a portal or send us all the resumes for finance. And from the initial meeting, they said hopefully after that, their goal is that we can hire someone probably by late April, May, because then there's a 3-day training period for these people paid by Municipal Affairs for the students to go, or the interns to go into Edmonton for 3 days training on the program. So basically the grant, I think they may have said that the grant funding will come as soon as we hire someone, like for the first portion of the grant. So it will probably be like, once we do the screening, once we get the resumes, which after February 19th, I think they said they're closing like the competition. And once we get the resumes, and then we'll do our process, internal process to hire someone. And then I think once we said we got someone hired, then we'll get like the funding.
Perfect. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, is there any other questions to administration? Thank you very much for the report. So, seeing none there, we'll move on to Finance Department update, Mr. Daly. And thank you for the report. Any questions? Mr. Daly. Go ahead, Revon.
Thank you. Just curious, on page 16, the day-to-day tasks, it says waste and water benefit billing, and I wasn't sure what that meant.
Mr. Chair, members of committee, basically we pay, waste and water is on our benefit plan. So we pay for benefits and then we bill back to waste and water for the cost.
That's
of
the
it.
commission.
Commission.
Yeah.
Oh,
The regional
okay.
Aspen Regional Water Commission and Athabasca Regional Waste Commission.
Thank you for that clarity. Appreciate it. I just noticed as well on page 17, the utilities and the collection process that's happening there. I'm assuming with the truck fill software that's soon to be added, that will really help with those collection processes, or is this mainly to the tap type invoicing, or is it truck fill that's behind? Or do we know?
I would have to clarify, but I would think this is through the tap, like actual accounts
Okay.
that people has with us.
Okay, all right, thank you so much. If I may.
Yep.
Still on page 17, there's 43 of the 91 plus accounts that are less than $10. Will that eventually be going to bad debt?
I would check the policy, but if it's, in some cases, if it's, depending on the amount, some of it would be written off, but it depends on our policy. But if it's, well, like when it goes to bad debt, I don't think we would send this to like our collection agency. So some of these may already be in bad debt, but if they're less than $10, in some cases, it could be on account for a couple of years. So then we would move it over.
Okay, awesome, thank you. And I think that was pretty much it, except just one quick question on the 9 of the 91 plus are fire related for a total of $40,825.50. Are those fire related invoices being disputed, or they're just not being paid yet? Could be insurance, how that lags behind and that kind of thing. Just curious on that one.
I think that's probably just a timing issue that when we send them out, we just haven't received our funds yet.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you very much.
Perfect. Councillor Hall.
So 2 questions. Just can you tell us about how the organization ensures performance reviews for all employees are done and updated in a timely manner? What the process is?
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, Human Resources actually has a data list of all of the performance evaluations that are due and send out reminders to the respective directors to make sure that all the performance evaluations are completed. So we're still in the process, and just so the committee knows, we're also revamping our performance evaluation forms. So that's under review right now as well.
And then the second one, I think, follows up on a previous comment, just concerning the over 90-day balance. There's still 52 accounts. Can you maybe talk to us about what action is being taken, given the fivefold increase over this time last year in the 90+ day? Because even excluding the 52 accounts, there's still a significant increase year over year. Actually, sorry, these you've, yeah, that's right. While I would also, I guess, had a note to add on the positive side, the overall balance is down significantly.
So in terms of, this would be when we send out our invoices at the end of December. So some of these may actually be paid, like, I mean, we send out all the invoices. So for example, at the end of December, so it could be like a large volume of invoices sent out. So they just haven't been, paid, but once we go over like 30 days, technically we can send their, we have a collection agency, so we would send it, but it depends on the amount because they take a portion. So if it's a small amount, we would have to review if it's worth sending to a collections agency or not. And then for these particular accounts, we would have to go through and see which ones we would send out and which ones then we'd probably move over to. We haven't did our like 2025 process for allowance for doubtful accounts yet. So once we look at like all receivables, some of these might actually move out. They could be bad. They could be sitting there if they're like 91+ days, but they could have been there a year or two. So they would probably moved over for allowance for bad debt. We just don't write them off. We put them in an allowance first. I think it's a policy that we got to bring to council to write off anything that's over a certain amount. So we would first just set up the allowance and then we would write them off. But these accounts will probably be reviewed. We'll review these now during our year-end process before the auditors come. So some of this may remain same, but if there's something there that's, say, way past 91 days, it would most likely be set up. And even when you set up allowance for doubtful accounts or bad debt, they still sit in receivables until they're actually written off. So some of these could have already been bad debt, set up as bad debt, but they're sitting in receivables. Until we actually write them off, they're sitting in receivables because in some rare cases, even though they're a year or 2 years old, a person could come in and actually pay it, even when it's sitting in bad debt. Not sure if that answers your question there.
So just looking at it year over year, it's up almost $200,000 from one year to the next. We know 40 of that is fire related, 430 of it relates to the under $10. So we're still a fair bit of money, an average of $3,700 per account. So the question was really just, at what point do we get on the phone and call them and say, hey, you're at 89 days or you're at 94 days and we need you to get in and pay. So it's more around, do we have adequate controls given the 5 times increase year over year? But I think we'll watch the process.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, seeing none. Thank you very much for that report. And we'll move on to Director Morton, the Infrastructure Services Department update. Come on down. So, thank you for the report. And any questions from the committee regarding?
Thank you.
Councillor Stacey?
I've got a first question. I've got several actually, but the first question is the review of the firewood supply. Can you let us know where do you get your firewood? And I'll just give you a quick background of why I'm asking. I've got a couple of ratepayers who want to do some light brushing to widen the road allowance to get their equipment through. And there's substantial trees. And I'm curious, in the brushing program, if you utilize that wood to send to the parks and things like that, or do you access your firewood from an outside source, or what do you do?
Through the chair, it is done through a tender process where it's supplied by a third party. It's bundled, it's done that way. So we historically have not taken trees off road allowances or anything like that and supplied to the campground. Not since I've been here anyway.
Yeah, Mark.
Oh, my next question is, the 3-year road crush gravel supply tender. Can you kind of fill us in as to how that worked out and an update on perhaps numbers or?
So we put out a 3-year tender for the supply and haul of gravel. 2026 originally only identified 2 locations that we were going to haul to. Since that time, we had negotiated cutting some of the volumes from one location so that we could get some down to the Perryville area. So they're currently hauling there. We'll then move to the Island Lake stockpile site that was created. And then the third one will go to Tower Pit across the river. It's right around 2.1 million, I think, for the supplying haul of the material for this year. And it was a 3-year contract. So the subsequent years go down a little bit. So so far it seems to be working well.
And so I guess my other question then would be for CAO Beck. As I sent you an email with a concern, is it appropriate to ask the question how that all worked out in fairness?
Mr. Chairman, if this is the email you sent where there was someone had legal concerns and was threatening a lawsuit, I'd probably like to address council in closed session.
And my last question, I guess it would be for you, is I got some questions in around the coffee shop there. Why is there a D6 cat pushing snow in Rochester?
It's just to get the snow back. From what I heard, we were having concerns that the banks were too high and people couldn't see, but.
Oh, this is down by the creek.
Oh,
I got some information that we would be hauling some snow from 2 or 3 miles away, dumping it in Rochester closer to the creek to melt there instead of in a drainage ditch. Now that is a touchy issue, as well as CAO Beck and I had discussed here 2 months ago about legal issues pertaining to what state they were in the drainage ditches and stuff like that. And it was brought to my attention from a third party that we're hauling snow from across the highway and dumping it in Rochester. Now, what you're talking about for widening, I appreciate that. I understand that fully. This particular patch has been bladed out on municipal property down by the creek, and it just sits there like a parking lot presently. And I just was curious. No objection, mind you. I just was curious what that is, because they're asking me. So, thank you.
well, through the chair, I will have to look into that one. I'm not aware of that. So I'll ask my staff what's going on there.
Go ahead, Reeve Holland. No, you go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Just going further on page 19, where it mentions that the public works staff are using skid steers and loaders to clear alleyways and hamlets, but ran out of places to put snow. So starting to haul snow out of Collinton, Rochester, Grassland, and Caslin. Are there different dumps closer to each region?
Yeah, we're really just trying to find any place that we can put it. Especially Collington, we pushed what we could, but everything's piled up pretty high now. So
With that little bit of snow we had, hey?
yeah, it wasn't. It seems like we're not used to getting snow anymore.
Right? Yep, absolutely. On page 20, it mentions third bullet point at the top, meetings and information gathering to determine path forward on Rochester and Grassland truck fills. I'm assuming that's Wandering River truck fills, not Rochester.
Correct.
Okay, just wanted to
Sorry.
double check on that one. There's a question I have on the regulatory. It mentions discussions with lands on SML 010042. Are you able to elaborate on what that means to us?
That's. Well, we spoke with Alberta Environment yesterday on two of them, and one was East Heights. And I'm not sure if that's the reference of the SML. The other one was Narrow Lake pit. So those are the two that we're currently working with the province on to get the reclamation plans approved and to get those pits reclaimed and remove the SML and get a reclamation certificate.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. If I may carry on. Reviewed phase 1 reports of Harnaha and Collinton, that's sewage. Thinking waste. Also waste, like landfill waste. Okay. So that's landfill. Thank you. Just a question mainly for CAO Beck. It was brought to my attention on the GIS, some maps, some information is a little bit conflicting. Is that something we can just send through to yourself and our GIS map lady?
Yep,
who
just
does
send
the-
us a note that something's not adding up and we're happy to look into it.
Okay, yeah, there's just, yeah, it was brought to my attention and I had no idea what they were referring to, so I have to figure out what that means. There is on page 21, under agricultural services, problem wildlife working on predator management. Is that a complaint-based program for predator management?
Yes,
Yes, okay, thank you so much. And other than that.
I
thank you.
believe so.
You believe so? If we could, I was a question that was brought to my attention as well, so it's just, if we could get confirmation on that, that
Okay.
would be great. And other than that, I really appreciate, again, all these reports. Fantastic and very thorough, so it's very beneficial for, I notice the public are getting more and more attention to them, paying more attention to them, so that's absolutely great. So thank you very much for doing that.
Counselor DeHollock.
Yeah, just on your gravel requisitions, do you have any success finding some new gravel or getting close to?
It's through the chair. We haven't really started the process for this year of looking for additional gravel. Kind of working on service levels, stuff of that nature at the moment. But yeah, we will be going down that avenue to try and explore more, but we haven't gotten very far so far this year.
Okay, secondly, at a conference, I think we were at a conference last week and we discussed with some other municipalities, the grader blades. Have you ever considered, we talked to some municipalities that use the carbide blades, and I believe they said they were $700 each. The payback, there's a payback there. We ever considered using carbide blades?
Yeah, we do have some. We use a number of different blade styles at the moment. We're really kind of just trying to see where the best bang for the buck is. So we have a number of different styles of blades that we're using. We just went through a tender. I think there's 6 different ones that we're trying right now.
Okay, so you are aware of it?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Counselor Cheeseman.
Just with the different blades combinations that you're using on the graders with the current snow slab issues that you're having with the dry snow, what are the blade combinations that you're trying?
Well, some of them are carbide. I'm not sure what it actually says in here, the brand name, but I don't know if you've seen the ones that they basically have holes all cut through them. Blue something or other. We're using those up at Wandering River right now. That grader operator really likes it. Some of them are just smooth edges, some are Sandvik. It's really trying to find what blade combination works with what moisture and stuff in the snow. Some actually make it icier on you, right? If you're using it repeatedly. So really, we're just trying to figure out, what's the most cost effective, which ones last the longest, which ones give us the best product. And to be honest, that it kind of changes in between operators. So, one might not like a certain blade and the next one loves it. So it's not as cut and dry as you'd think, but definitely from an administrative perspective, we are always trying to figure out a way to find a cheaper solution and still get the same product, because quite frankly, the blades they've really taken a significant increase in costs in the last 3-5 years.
So with the complaints, with the rough road complaints, and my division is no different than any other division, but the complaints and concerns that I've heard is that basically the grader operators are going too fast, trying to get as much snow off, and then once it starts rocking on them, they should just stop and back up and readjust and correct that ASAP, which they feel that's not happening. So just some concerns that maybe our grader operators need to just slow down and correct it. They know when it's happening with those rough conditions. And like, I don't know even who my grader operator is in Division 3, so, or Area 8. But anyways, that's a big concern. And angling blades, they're just saying with the county spending money, trying different blades, a lot of this could be probably saved with just taking our time and redoing it. So I'm just putting it out there.
Through the chair, we have a lot of professional grader operators out there. I know everybody wants you to slow down after the snow's been or the roads have been opened up, but during December, it was just one event after another, and the guys were keeping the roads open. Was there a fair amount of snow left behind? Absolutely. And does it turn into, mini washboard and get rough? Yes, it does. The roads are open. They're travelable. I know that the expectation is that every time the grader goes down the road, it'll be perfect. It's not reality when we're trying to open roads. They come back and they do a better job the second pass. We're aware of the concerns, and our priority was to get the roads open. So that's kind of it'll get better now that it's open. So
the issue with the chop is also can be actually for the mini washboard can be just move over a half a tire length, please, instead of going like sheet down the road. And that's what happens to a lot of people. They don't want to move out of them driving ruts, and that's where you get the washboard from, is with a little bit of the excess snow left in that driving ruts. Just move over a bit, just to help everybody out every once in a while. It's and I know that would help a lot too. So just for a little help there.
I just know some of the areas we almost lose a tractor and wheel wagons because it's so rough, right? So, and we're already going slow. So
Yeah, gotcha. So
but we do understand with all the snow that it is an issue. So thank you for that.
they'll get better. The second pass, they'll do a much better job.
Well, and weather's changing too, so. And we have weather changing, so that's always a different issue too. So thank you.
we'll go to Reeve Holland first, and then
And I just wanted to mention, it's one of those situations where, and I don't mean to curse, but you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. And we really need to put it out there how absolutely hard working the operators are, and the job that they have been doing. And I've noticed the change as well with the weather and the second pass and all of those types of things, and how much it has improved. So we also need to send out a huge thank you for the hours and hours and the days and without days off, bringing in spares. It's all in the report as well. How much we really do appreciate that. I know there are complaints, but it's also sometimes a little bit of education and a little bit of misunderstanding may be involved there as well. And administration's taken on a ton of complaints. We've taken on a ton of complaints. But at the end of the day, the job that was done, as far as I'm concerned, with the conditions that we face, has been awesome, and I'm very appreciative, and want to make sure that the operators understand how much we do appreciate the job that they've done and the efforts administration has done to try and keep up with it all as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
Counselor DeHollick.
Yeah, a couple
Oh.
of things. Yeah, thank you, Councillor Holland. I think that we should give them special recognition for the work they've done over the holiday season. It was excellent and they worked hard. I just want to talk about, this might be a closed session, the Wandering River grader contract.
That would be a closed session.
That'll be a closed session. Okay. Thank you.
Counselor Stasiak.
Thank you. I just want to reiterate some of the comments that were made here, and I really appreciate that. But I have noticed that when the graders go by, they try and leave just a little bit to retain the gravel that's on the road. And that's very important to me, especially. And so I've noticed that traffic itself is what creates the washboard by bouncing on that little skiff of snow. But you're correct when you say that the second pass tidies that up. And so I don't know if there's anything that we can add or say or do it a different way that would achieve a different result. I think that what's going on right now is sort of an inevitable process, and I think we're on the right track. Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect. Counselor Hall.
Three things briefly. Thank you, Director, for the report. At the page 18 of your report, you talk about new road data on a new approval process. So I'm just wondering, will that improve service levels, or is there a problem you're trying to solve by moving to a new permit approval process?
Through the chair, I think it'll be a more efficient process. So it's really only associated with oil and gas. So it'll be approaches, pipeline crossings, new well site and accesses, proximity agreements, thing of those nature. You know, those applications will go through into road data, and they'll collect the fee that we established last year with the policy. And then they'll forward some of the stuff has standard conditions. Those standard conditions will be applied and they'll get their approvals very quickly. Some of them still require us to do an inspection. So more than anything, I think it's maybe going to make a more efficient system, but also it'll store all of the data associated with those developments in one location. So once the well site is approved, everything, the road use agreements, anything else tethered to that well site, all that information and data will be collected and stored in one location, and so that, and it's all tied together. That's kind of where I see the advantage. And you know, basically the permit fee pays road data's cost. So it reduces the revenue we get back a little bit, but we're still making more on the application fee than what we're paying road data. So
there's a business improvement there.
Yeah.
Second thing was, I appreciate the publication of the grader maps. And I guess, I don't know if it's I guess it's a question, and that is, do you think it'd be more user-friendly, both for residents and council, if we publish them by maybe electoral division instead of by grader district? Because I know for me, I don't find it particularly useful to know if it was, you know, which operator was there. I want to look at a section of the county and know how many of the roads in that section were completed. And I think it's counterproductive to have to find, you know, 2 or 3 different maps to figure out if that area might have been done. And also, I'm I guess I have a concern about the ability of exposing the individual work of every person. To me, the map publication is about showing what is being done, not who's doing it.
Through the chair, I guess we can look at that. The reason we do it the way we do it is it's kind of how the database works when you're searching. So we search by unit number for the grader, which, you know, is only tied to that greater beat area. So, you know, we can search more than one, but it gets kind of convoluted. And also from a financial tracking and billing and everything is set up to be per grader beat. You know, I'm not, we can definitely look into it, what it would
Thinking
look
about how I,
like.
you know, the questions that I get. It's
Yeah,
about when was my road last done? And in, you know, most of the folks calling me live in Division 4. I'm looking at 3 different maps, trying to find out, was that road done or was that road not done? That's why I asked.
yeah, I understand from that, when you have multiple grader beats in one of your electoral divisions, you know, you got to figure out which grader beat it was. For us, we're just searching the road. We already have the map that says which grader it is, right? And so
And I can understand why different users would want different.
yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, we can see if we can come up with something different that would maybe achieve what we both need. So I'll look into it.
And then you've reported that there's a structural geotechnical report on the Wandering River Fire Hall has been submitted. And I think, you know, we've heard about issues or rumors of issues there for years. And I'm just wondering if you can give us a timeline on when council would receive a briefing on the outcome of that analysis.
Through the chair, I'll chat
Or if it's
with-
appropriate for us to receive that, I guess is the other question.
Yeah, both of those I'd have to look into and see when Jamie would be available and discuss whether it's appropriate. So we'll get back to you with an answer on that.
Go ahead, Councillor Pollock.
Yeah, the graders, my area, I think I've got three different graders in my area, so, you know, the mapping, I don't know, I think it's fine the way it is, but I could see what you're saying too. But anyways, road use agreements, how are those going? We've got reports of rocks on the pavement again, heavy load rock loads. Do you know if they have a road use agreement or? They should.
Sorry, through the chair, I'm not sure.
So how about a log truck? How about a log truck that's loaded?
Yeah.
They require a road use agreement?
Yeah. So through the chair, they would get an annual road use agreement for log haul from us.
Would they specify the roads?
It would, yes, it should, yes. But it doesn't necessarily cover off road gravel being stuck in tires and tracked out onto pavement. You know, if they're doing excessive tracking of mud out onto pavement and making an unsafe situation, then that would be covered. I'm not sure how else to
So how
answer.
about the ruts in the road and stuff?
So on a gravel road?
It's on a gravel road, yeah.
So, you know, typically we can either have them repair the damage or we can repair the damage and bill them. But in the winter, like, are we talking summer or winter? Or
Both.
Okay. So yeah, we require that they do greater maintenance and so on as well. But basically, we would need to know about the concern, and then we can deal with it from that
So-
perspective.
So for example, I'm just using the Pelon connector as for an example. If three companies have a road use agreement on that road, okay, would they require a grader on that road when the road is impassable? Who fixes it? We've always been fixing it.
Yeah, the Plumontic connector is a little different animal, is that there could be 10 companies that have road use agreements on there. And how are you gonna go after one, right? Like it's kind of an anomaly to itself. Like everybody's using that road for a cut across. So yeah, it usually falls on us because it's pretty hard to pinpoint who's doing the damage. And in most cases, it's probably people who don't have road use is what I'm gonna tell you. Is there's a lot of people using that to avoid scales and to use it as a cut across even when empty. Those people don't have road use agreements. And so, you know, it would be highly unfair to go after the guys with road use agreements when, you know, they know they're not supposed to be on there when it's raining. They're doing their best to adhere to their road use agreement conditions, where the other users that have no permits do whatever they want. So,
Thank you.
Just wait, Counselor Revolt.
Thank you. And just additional to that conversation, I suppose it's extremely difficult to even monitor or enforce any type of misuse of that road. So how would we know who's got the road use agreement, and how would we know that they're don't have the road use agreement? Like, is there any way to monitor that?
Through the chair, the only way to know is if you stop them, right? We know who has road use agreements on that road.
But I mean, the vehicle itself, like, you know, is there a way to, I don't mean to interrupt, but is there a way to put in the window, you know, of the vehicle that says, you know, we have a permit type to be here, so that, you know, if somebody doesn't, we're able to stop them and say, hey, you know what I'm saying? Because the residents are paying quite a bit to maintain that particular road for the abuse that it takes. And so, you know, when do we start restricting that? When do we start looking at a different method to say, you're not supposed to be here? You're supposed to be taking the right way around. I'm just curious.
Just Mr. Chairman, on the topic of infrastructure protection, we could spend a whole day on it.
Yeah.
So I get it. But we probably need to put it on as a separate item and talk about it. And if it takes all day, it takes all day. I've been through it before. It involves our peace officers, who I believe need to be certified in weights and measures. There's a whole lot of things that go into it. We're not going to get through it today.
No,
Just so you
definitely
know.
not. Yeah, no, definitely not. Just was curious. You know, in other areas, you see the permitted in the windows, and I think that, you know, it might be helpful, but for another day. Thanks.
Mr. Chairman, since you open it though, so this is one of the few counties anywhere that doesn't have a regular spring road ban. I'll just point out that, and for all roads, and as a consequence, you end up with the consequence of it. So just since you opened the door, I'll just say that.
Just to rebut on that one, we do kind of have a road ban system. We used to work by banning certain roads, paved roads, hard surface roads, stuff like that. Pomona Connector might even fall into that area, and then hopefully it does now. Hopefully it does now. But the biggest thing is we always went by respect of the road system by people using our road systems. And we didn't want to ban the roads, just a blanket ban, due to the fact then we caught heck from all the big farmers now, because now they have to phone in every time they want to haul a load of grain, and everybody seemed to want to haul a load of grain in March, April, and when it started loosening up. So March, April, May. So that was kind of the reason, and that. But yeah, we can. I think through the road band system, we can help out the Pomona connector a little bit, and it's tough to monitor that road. It is very tough. Councillor Hall.
So on that topic, does administration not feel they have do you have the tools in place to protect the roads through appropriate bylaws and policies to institute road bans when you believe it's appropriate? I think it's fine to say we haven't done it. Do you have the tools to look after things going forward, or do we need to make changes?
I guess through the chair, we have the tools at our disposal. You know, the utilization of some of those tools has political outfall sometimes that we're trying to juggle. So the tools exist, or they're obtainable, but sometimes, you know, we're trying to deal with different perspectives, I guess. So when we banned the Plamondon connector this year already, when it was in poor condition, I can ban the road whenever we feel that it's warranted. You know, it kind of comes down to what council's perspective is on public roadways, right? So anyway, as CAO Beck has indicated, we could go on and on about how we manage our road systems and road bans, but it's probably a much bigger discussion than you want to cover today.
Long drawn out conversation, which is a good conversation. Councillor Stacey.
Thank you. If we're done discussing that part of it, I just got a question about the windrows in the driveways. Is that pertinent to people pushing their snow across the driveway?
We've, through the chair, sorry, we've seen a lot of that this year, and we've had our CPOs go out and have discussions about pushing the snow across the road. You know, some of the windrows that I've seen concerns about where the guys are lifting their wing and they're trying to empty the snow off of it before they drag across. They do a pretty good job doing that. You know, unfortunately, sometimes when somebody's just plowed their driveway and then the grader comes along winging, you know, you're going to get a couple inches there and people aren't happy about it. But yeah, they're doing the best that they can.
I agree. I don't have a problem with them trying their best to do that, but I do have complaints and concerns, personal actually as well, that some of these people wait for the grader to go by and then they take their little bobcat and they scrape across the drive or across the road and leave some spillage, some ruts and stuff like that. I'm just curious if I read someplace in my agenda packages that we were going to be discussing that, and I can't remember if it was in general council meeting or in committee of the whole, but is there anything in place that's going to be addressing that in the future? Or I've just been talking to my ratepayers and explaining to them very politely that one of these days there's going to be some repercussions here unless you smoothen it out. You have the facilities, you have the equipment there to backblade it after you're done scraping. Please do it, and don't just leave me a rough road to bounce over and everybody else, because it is dangerous for sure.
Through the chair, like I suggested, we have had the CPOs go and try and educate people on some of that. It's a significant liability for the individual. But even beyond that, you know, pushing it over and then that bank on the other side, you know, gets frozen and we're coming along with a wing on the grader, you know, it can push the grader right over into the lane. So you got something you want to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that we're doing it. We've done some education online and on our website and Facebook. And like Director Morton said, the CPOs have been out a large number of times to have conversations and educate folks.
Attorney Holland?
Thank you. It is mentioned in our report here under Director Wilkinson's report on enforcement services that the CPOs are supporting infrastructure services with response to improper snow removal concerns. And that's on page 23. So thank you for that.
Okay, we beat up on you pretty good. I do have a few questions, but, okay, Councillor Gallo.
I just have a question regarding the bridge repair on Township Road 682. The tentative start date was for yesterday. I'm just wondering if your crew is able to get out there and start on it, and if not, when do you foresee that beginning?
Through the chair, I was aware that they were supposed to start that bridge repair yesterday. I'm not sure if they got there or not, but we can find out. That's our bridge contractor, Bridgman Services. But I can find out if they got started yesterday, and if not, when their new tentative date is.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and a couple questions for me. I'm sorry, but gravel crushing, are we gonna be doing any gravel crushing this year?
So through the chair, plan is to crush at Berg, but that will have to be a standalone item that comes back to council later this summer or late spring for budget discussion, because it's not included in the current budget.
Okay, and then the Island Lake stockpile site, is there any thought of putting something on that floor before we put the crushed gravel material on top of it? Just due to the fact that
It's new.
it's going to swallow up some serious amount of gravel.
Yeah, we did our best to pack it and get it ready for the stockpile site. But as any new site, it will eat some gravel for sure. So no, we don't have any plans to put anything else down first.
So we got extra gravel coming in there due to the fact that the gravel is gonna go down into the floor.
It'll still be there. We can go down and get it. But it's gonna be there for years, right? So, I mean, we know we're gonna lose some on the first round or two. But we can get a percentage of that back too by going down when we reclaim, but yeah, there will be some loss.
Yeah. So. Okay, graders, have we ordered any graders yet?
We have not ordered them as of yet, but they will be shortly.
Okay, and have we changed the specs on the years and the warranty time?
So, yeah, we've gone to a 7-year, 10,000 hour warranty, if that's the question.
Is that cost effective? Ever did see a
Yeah, you haven't seen the 20
Athabasca
year.
County worked very hard for many years to get our graders to a 5-year 7,500 to 8,000 hour grader. And now all of a sudden we're changing to a 7-year 10,000 without any, I guess what I'm looking at, without any input from council. This was just done by administration, and I would like to have had like a look at some numbers to, because the cost of warranty. Is there a buyback? Is there all this stuff that, because in 7 years, we're not gonna be in these seats possibly, and the next counselors are gonna have to answer to it.
Okay, so I guess if there wants to be a discussion on that, I can chat with the CAO. It was done because quite frankly, the cost of graders and the amount of capital money that we have annually to replace that equipment kind of dictated we had to go to a 7-year. So if council wants to discuss that further, I'm sure we can have that discussion.
I would just like to see some numbers of the the logic behind it. Because for the last 35 plus years, it's been working well. Other than that, sometimes the hours would come up on the graders and then they'd come off a warranty, but other than that, it just when I get asked, even by the ratepayers, what's going on, and I stand there and say, well, I don't know, because we never talked about it. What are you doing? You know, that's what I'm looking at, right? I think it'd be a good conversation to have, just so we as counselors could, you know, if we get asked that, why did this change?
We would all love to be able to do 5 years, 7,000 hour warranty.
Yeah.
That's the way we all did it for a number of years.
Yeah,
And graders cost 130,000. Now they're 730,000.
yeah,
So we've been forced to look at things differently.
yeah.
But we can definitely have the conversation.
Okay, perfect. Oh, vandalism concerns at the water, page 20, regarding the coin operation. I know they had trouble down here in town too, and stuff like that. So with this new system that we're looking at, is that tied into the coin operation at all, or is that still not that's still got to go with the coin?
Well, the coin system will go away. So it would, when we get to that situation where we're switching over, it'll be swipe card only, credit card or debit. So there will be no coin.
There'll be no
So
coin.
they can vandalize it, but they're not going to get any cash.
No, but we'll still be able to fill up 5-gallon jugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, no, that sounds good. That's very positive on that end. And the same page, reviewed limited subsurface investigation reports for Manook and Crooked Lake. Manook setback and removed based on report. What is that?
Sorry, where?
The last bullet point on reviewed limited subsurf investigation reports for Manook and Crooked Lake,
20?
page 20.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm assuming it's the old landfills that we
Oh.
were having some.
oh, okay, right on, perfect, thank you. Holland,
Yeah,
I
so
think
that's
you-
speaking to the McLaren report that we were cleaning up.
Just quick, going back to the, I know we're all highly anticipating, pretty excited about the change in the truck fills as regards to the software that's going to be used. Is there an ETA on when that installation will happen? Or is it just still in progress?
Still in progress.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm done with my questions. Oh,
Yeah, I agree with you, Rob. I would like to probably see some type of a spreadsheet or whatever on the difference between 7 and 10.
okay. Sounds good. Okay, we want to, thank you very much for your report, Director. I know we talk to you mostly at this committee and that, because it is what we do best, graders and gravel. So we'll move on to the Director of Community and Protective Services. What I would really like though is at least by 1:45, 10 to 11 to be shutting down for a break before we go into the delegation for sure. So that's just a heads up. I'll be putting the hammer down. So don't be so hard on the director. Okay, so any questions for Director Wilkinson? We might be going on a break early. So, Revolve.
I don't mind starting. Thank you again, as mentioned, how valuable these reports are. Just, I have a few questions. I'll start on page 23. The notable files, it mentions progress has been made towards attainment of pound services. So that's not county-owned pound services, that would be contracted pound services?
That is correct.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure that that was clear. Had a question on that one. The next page, page 24, working to improve cellular connectivity and mobile data in patrol vehicles. Is that through boosters or how is that being done?
We've just been working on a couple of different initiatives to try and improve that for those patrol vehicles.
Right, but it's through, because of course, we all know how bad our cell service is in our area. So just curious what methods would be used.
I'd have to get back to you on that.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you. Going down into the economic development portion on page 24 for the Northeast Alberta EV Charging Network Steering Committee meetings, still working on site selections and increasing stakeholder numbers. And I understand that's, you know, all the way through that corridor of the northeastern side. We've seen Wandering River, I believe, with Tesla charging stations. I wasn't sure if they were operational yet, or do we know if they're up and running?
I'm not sure if they're up and running yet.
Grassland is for sure. Yeah, I was going to mention Grassland has theirs. Go ahead.
Grassland, from what I see, has just recently moved to a phase 3 system instead of phase 2 that was a test.
I was going to mention that as well on my report. So thank you for that because, you know, I think it's a great initiative, but I'm happy to see that there are contract type individuals that are taking this on and that our county is being well utilized for EV charging. So that's just a notable item there. Just trying to go through and look at some of the questions that I had. Oh, the microsite. So on page 25, we were talking about continuing to attend the Athabasca Boyle Chambers of Commerce meetings. There's working with the Alberta Hub on a site selector project for land and buildings with showcases available properties for available properties in a member community profile. And so these types of things. So I was just curious, is our microsite operational, working, available, other, you know, and how do we get that out to our residents?
Well, when you go on our website and you click on ECDev, it goes right to the microsite.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure. I didn't do a deep dive on that. All right, awesome. And just a really happy note on page 25 under FCSS, I noticed that the Athabasca Oilmen's Association for the 3rd year in a row, the Athabasca Oilmen's provided FCSS with 10 $100 grocery cards for families in need. And I think that that's extremely awesome. And we need to really appreciate and note that for everyone that how our community comes together for people. So thank you very much. And I appreciate your report again. Well done with a lot of great information. Oh, one more, sorry. Page 27, new dwellings. There was one mentioned for 2025. Are we able to get a year to date on new dwellings in the county for 2025?
Yes, we can
Awesome.
do that.
That would be great. Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Couple of questions. Page 23, notable files, ongoing work on complex unsightly construction waste file. Does that refer to general unsightly premises within the hamlets and things like that? As you know, I'm trying to deal with one presently, and I don't know whether we have big enough teeth for that project or not, or what.
It's an ongoing, so that particular one isn't necessarily in a hamlet, but it's one that we've been dealing with for a while. And just in general, we do have a couple of other files on the go as well.
And do we have enough enforcement there, or do we need to upgrade our bylaw to capture the magnitude of what's happening there.
So community standards bylaw is one that we currently have under review. And council will see that one, I would think, in the next few months
Okay.
at this committee level for review.
Great, thank you. Two other questions. I see you're advertising for a part-time bylaw officer. Has something happened there?
So that's a summer position. So
Okay.
when we cut the third position from the budget, from the 2026 budget, we retained enough funds for a summer bylaw position to help with bylaw over those busier summer months when
Okay.
we've got an influx of recreational property owners and campground users as well.
Okay, and I'm also assuming then the inventory clerk for the fire services department would be the similar thing where it's.
So that one we actually got a grant for.
Okay.
And so that's gonna be a 2-year position, I believe. And so we presented that to council and council approved the sort of matching top up so that we could make that into a Fire Smart 2-year position.
Great, follow that one. Great, thank you.
Very good. Anybody else with questions or comments or? Councillor Hall?
Good morning. Couple of different questions, I guess. Can you just give, share with us, at the beginning of your report, you talk about staff continuing to receive a number of complaints. Where do the complaints originate from? Like, is it one or two prolific individuals, or is it sort of this widespread community feeding stuff into?
You know, I think there's always some frequent flyers, but in general, when people have concerns about, you know, in particular land use bylaw contraventions, they submit them, you know, lots of times it's conversations that start with our development officers or our admin assistant. Sometimes it's with our bylaw folks. And also we have reported concern on our website that those complaints come through too as well.
Okay. Then the other questions I had related to the development permit approval process, and just do you track the average number of days development permit approvals take? And, or even, you know, the processing times for the subdivision and development approvals?
Yes, those dates are all tracked very closely because we have a finite number of days to make decisions and deem applications complete as per the Municipal Government Act. And so we have spreadsheets or we have tools that we track those dates very closely. And I mean, for committee's information, so a development permit, we have 20 days to deem complete, and we have 40 days to make a decision. And subdivisions, we have 20 days to deem complete. We have 60 days to make a decision. That being said, we can ask the applicant for extensions to those dates, but those dates are really important. And we've learned through, you know, the appeal process that those dates are finite.
So one of the things we keep hearing around economic development is, you know, our ability to turn around the speed of permits matters. It makes us more business and development friendly. And so I guess for me, it's in the future, maybe we'll be asking about if we can start seeing, are we making improvements in that, or what's our average? And can we, as we get into level of service discussions, talk about what's the timeline that we want to find?
I think the committee has to also remember that we have one municipal planning commission meeting a month. And so that potentially slows certain decisions down as well.
Can appreciate that might be red tape. The other last question relates to the pound and the dogs. So I mean, I guess it's a two-part question. Are you able to tell us kind of what area, not like what address, but what area of the county we have the aggressive dog problem in? Is this one of the ones we've seen in the past, or is it a new aggressive dog? And then the last one on the pound services, was that in the budget, or is that something we're going to have to make amendments for?
I'll answer your second question first. Yes, it's in the budget. It was in the budget. In the 2026 approved interim budget. As far as aggressive dogs go, I don't know that we could identify a certain area of the county.
This particular one is.
Oh, this
is- yeah,
particular
is
one.
this a repeat offender or is it?
I'm not sure.
Thank you.
Revolve.
Sorry, just a quick note, with regards to the MPC only having one meeting per month. If we are looking at also improving the turnaround for permits and whatnot, there's nothing stopping us from having a special meeting to make sure that helps to expedite those types of things. And I know you want to have a break real quick, so I just also want to give a shout out on the Athabasca Regional Tourism website. There's a lot of good information there, and you're also able to add events and whatnot onto that calendar. So I don't know if the new counselors know about it. It is kind of sort of mentioned in here. And these are the stats starting on page 30 and carrying on. That is the Athabasca Regional Tourism website. So I really encourage you to go and check it out. It does cover the Village of Boyle, the town of Athabasca and the county. So it's a really good website for people to know about and for the public to also access. So thank you again for your report.
Thank you very much. Seeing no more questions, we're gonna take a break until about 10:58. And then we'll get back at her. Okay, thank you very much. I think we're gonna fire back up here again. Our delegation is waiting waiting online there. So first off, this is gonna be held in close. We're gonna need a closed session motion. Reeve Holland has made a motion to go into closed. All in favor? Motion carried. We are into closed.